Welcome to Ask Earl Anything. This is the show where your questions make the show. If I don't have questions, I don't have a show. This is our show for November 2021. Thank you all for watching this show, those of you that like the show, and please like and subscribe. I should say that more often. I don't really say it enough. I don't have any merch that I'm hawking presently. I probably should do that, but I don't do that. I don't know why. I just don't. Maybe I'm lazy. I don't know. You wouldn't tell by my video output that I'm lazy, but there's parts of this YouTube experience that I, for years, have not gravitated towards. Number one, because I feel extremely blessed in life. And this year in November 2021, it's a couple years after my son passed, I am now at a point where I'm just really reflecting on all the greatness of God and the goodness of God in my life. And I'm feeling like I'm moving forward in some areas of my life that I need to move forward in, and more to come on that in the months ahead. But for the most part, what I want to say is that, I'm close to a milestone. I'm recording this. I'm 10 subscribers shy of 5,000, whatever that means. Million views on YouTube, 1,000 videos on YouTube. I've done a lot of work. The last couple years, I've done a lot of work, and I think a lot of that work came out of this place of pain in my life that forced me to have to channel something, my energy. And I think drumming's been an area I can channel into, and I have. And I thank you all that have followed me and enjoy my videos and enjoy my drumming. I know I pick kind of eclectic things for some of you. For others, it's like generationally you feel like, oh yeah, this totally identify with 60s and 70s and 80s. But for others, it's like not so much. Don't really identify what you're doing, but I can hear that you're a player, and thank you. You subscribe anyhow, so I always appreciate that. So this show is actually my 102nd show. I passed a milestone a while back. I had 2 videos missing in some other playlists, and when I put them in, I went over 100. I was hoping to celebrate my 100th episode. So we'll say this is my 100th episode on YouTube. And I probably won't release this till I have 5,000 subscribers. So it'll be my thank you. Congratulations for 5,000 subscribers. I want to thank all of you. No, I'm not giving away a symbol. I'm not giving away anything. I'm just giving you me and what I'm about. And I want to go back and I want to recap a little bit of the last 4 years of YouTube for me and where this really all started from and where I've come to, and give you a glimpse where things could be going. I do have some ideas for things going forward. I'm not going to make any drastic changes to the channel, but you're probably going to see me put out videos a little less frequently in the future. I am working on some projects with some local musicians. We're working on some recording projects. One of them I started yesterday was a song my son wrote that I've been wanting to record for 2 years, and I finally got a demo of it. A guitar player friend of mine, Chris Wood, and myself laid down a demo pretty quick yesterday. Didn't really spend time to create a master, but we're trying to build a framework for the song and then learn it and then bring everybody in that's going to come in and play on it. So I hope when I'm done with that, I'll have a video to share of some of the session work that we did, recording parts and things like that, and put it in a collage and make it a really a big thing when I do it. But that probably won't be for months. I also probably put it on Spotify under, I don't know what I'll put it under, but I'll probably put it on Spotify to let people know about it. And it'll definitely be on YouTube at some point. But that, among a bunch of other projects I'm working on, so I'm doing some recording for some people. My day job continues to be my mainstay. My wife and I living life together, and her work and my work. That's what's important. And we're starting to try to take care of ourselves a little bit more. And that's one of the areas that I'm working on. And there's a lot there to talk about that I'm not going to talk about. But, so 5,000 subscribers, it's a milestone. I want to thank a few people along the way because I stayed in this game because of the community of YouTube, and there are people along that journey that kept me in. Now, early on, I have to first credit my wife, Stephanie, for getting me into doing the YouTube. There's two people, Stephanie and my friend Ken Burton. Ken Burton told me many, many years ago, probably about 2010 or 11, you should make videos of you playing drums. And I had the recording studio. I didn't have the video equipment, and I didn't know anything about video. And video was a little scary back then, 10 years ago. But I thought, well, you're right, I probably should, but I just don't. And also the funny thing, around that same time, my son was going, I want to put my guitar lesson business online. So he wanted to do videos, and he was trying to get a camera. And anyhow, long and the short of it, I didn't really get a real camera to start shooting videos until 2015, when I started making safety training videos for the company I was working for at the time. And I was challenged to find a way to do some training videos on ladders, on technical training, different aspects of technical training. And I started making these little videos with a DSLR camera the company bought me. And it was during that time period that I made a few covers. I made a couple Vic Firth covers. I started making a couple covers with my phone. And it was the early days of me trying anything, but nothing serious. It was just me goofing around, pretty much. And it was a lot of work to goof around back then. I mean, it took me a while to figure out how to sync video and sync audio. And I was trying to do it all in Logic, and it didn't really make much sense at that point in time. Around 2016, the end of 2016, I was in a band called the Swigs, and we were getting ready to record a recording session, and I wanted to basically hear what the drums sounded like in Studio B. Studio B is basically a cinder block room and doesn't have really a lot of treatment. Even today, it doesn't have a lot of treatment in it, but I've put up blankets and I've put up screens for green screen and black screen and white screen in there, more or less to make it decorative in there when I shoot videos, because it's such a mess in there. And I've got now a big Chase lounge in there that came because we collect furniture. It's one of the things my wife likes to do. We collect furniture. And I call it Earl and Steph's Furniture Warehouse. And I've got an assortment of furniture that I don't know what to do with. Doesn't fit in the main house. Ends up here somewhere. So I have a Chase lounge in there. And believe it or not, the Chase lounge is the best bass trap for that room ever. And when I put the Chase lounge in there, all of a sudden the drums sounded okay in there. Now, the first video I did in there was a song called, was the Zombies, Time of the Season. And I was playing my Noble Cooley kit at the time, which was my friend Scott. We traded back and forth, and I had the Noble Cooley kit for a while. And I put 4 mics on, and I put a video camera up, and I was playing it. I was practicing it for the session when we were going to record 10 songs as the Swigs down here as a band in the studio. And I was going to be in that ISO booth. I was going to shut the door, and we were going to record there. And we did. It worked out well. And it was my way of basically getting set up for the session. And in the meantime, I created a drum video of Time of the Season. So I took Time of the Season and I put it on YouTube. I had a couple versions of Time of the Season too. I goofed around with it in here, but it ended up being out there, the one that I posted. And it took off. And it was after that that my wife said, you know, you really should do some talking videos on YouTube. You watch all these talking videos. She caught me one day watching Bonzolium, Terry Keating one day. She said, you know, you could do that. You should do that. And I said, you think so? Yeah, you know a lot about drums and cymbals and stuff. So she's the one that pushed me that direction. And in 2016, I did one on Danny Seraphin, and she got in on the act on that one. My wife's in on the act on that one. And then I did one on John Hammond, who she interviewed for Modern Drummer magazine. And we talked about the John Hammond and my Saved by Grace recording experience, and it really was documenting it. And I sent it to John Hammond, and he was nice enough to comment on it when I sent it to him. And anyhow, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it, but I only had like 20 subscribers maybe. I don't even think I had that much when I started doing this. And then all of a sudden it was the beginning of 2017, and I made a drum cover of Long Train Running. I had a drumless track, and I recorded it. And when I recorded that track, some guys named According to Adam picked up that video and said, I'm going to make you in the video of top 5 videos of the week. I don't know if it was January, whatever. It was somewhere around January 2017. And that video got pushed out there, and people started watching me a little bit more. I started picking up a few more subscribers. And then all of a sudden it was April of 2017, and I lost my job, and I had nothing to do. And I would come in here all day and just make videos. I would make videos, me talking about different things like cymbals. And, well, I actually did the cymbal video before that, but there was other cymbals like Zildjian and Sabian, and I made a video about how to do church drumming, 5 basic beats for playing in church, because I was playing in church a lot the last 15 years. The last 15 years since we moved here, I've been playing in church a lot. Not every Sunday, but I play a lot of church gigs. And I was a guy in town that was playing in churches. So it was kind of like, yeah, let me do this, help worship leaders and young drummers figure out how to navigate the new worship. And that's what I did. And some of you guys found me on that video. Matter of fact, a lot of you found me on that video. That video got me a lot of recognition. Eventually, I would do a video on Jeff Porcaro that got me recognition. I would do one on Concert Toms that gets a lot of recognition. Later in the years, I would do one on Roto Toms that gets some recognition. And then I made some kind of funky covers that nobody did anything with them the way I did, like Men at Work, Down Under. I don't know. For some reason, that one took off. I did a Grover Washington Jr. one in 2019 that took off. Now it's like 10,000 views on that. I don't know what, just the two of us. I don't know why. I mean, I'm playing over the drums. I didn't have drumless tracks. I was having to try to match Steve Gadd's parts. It was hard. But 2017, when I started making videos and doing all these videos, I didn't have anybody watching me. And then one day, a drummer named Drumman 190, wrote in one of the comments, "Hey, would you like to do a collaboration?" And I said, "Collaboration? What's that?" And we wrote back and forth. He said, you do a video of the song, another guy does a video of the song, and then I put the two together, and you're basically both, like, I guess it was a drum battle, technically. I don't think it was even a collaboration. It was a drum battle is what it was. He put me up against a couple interesting drummers. As a matter of fact, Michael Perry at when he had his drum Google Plus channel, he did some things too like that. So did Tony, who had his drum channel. And I got paired with a couple interesting people. And one of them was Jeff Holden. And Jeff Holden and I kind of started around the same time, and he was doing similar things. And he won the Rosanna battle, and me against him for Rosanna. That was kind of funny, and he won, And so anyhow, all of a sudden now it's getting close to the end of 2017, and Drumman 190 and Drum Covers by Bill decide they're going to have a Drum Cover of the Year contest. So they had a bunch of people submitting, and I submitted Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas. Had a couple Concert Toms, and I just played it. It was over a drumless track, no click, but I had fun doing it. And that video I won. And at the day I won, I had 200 subscribers. And the day after I won, I had 400 subscribers. And it's the biggest peak because I also got 3,000 views on that video pretty much in the first day. First day or two, I got 3,000 views on that video. And then nobody watched that video again. It just kind of sits there and doesn't do anything. But that's what started it. And 2018, I was transitioning into my new job. And I kind of figured out how to make drum covers, and I was having fun making drum covers. And then people would ask me questions about equipment and say, hey, how do you do this? And must have been like the second or third week. And I said, you know what, I'm going to answer this on a show. And I did a show called Ask Earl Anything. And my first show was like 14 minutes, and I answered about 3 questions on it. And I was still doing it with the DSLR camera, and that was really a pain because it would cut out and then stop, and I have to get up, and then have to splice and edit and blah, 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 all that good stuff. Long and the short of it was, once I started doing Ask Earl Anything, that first year and a half, I was doing them almost every week. And I kept doing them and doing them and doing them. And in June of 18, I hit 1,000 subscribers, and off to the races I was going. And between drum covers, drum talks about my equipment, Ask Earl Anything, people started finding me. And I want to thank Drumman 190, Drum Covers by Bill, Jeff Holden in the drum community back then, Tony, Michael Perry, Little Drummer Channel, Beats by Jay. I know I'm leaving out about 1,000 people, you know. But all those guys back then, we were all kind of a community. We were all watching live streams. I remember when Beats by Jay started doing live streams. Then Jeff started doing live streams. And Jeff had me on a live stream once. And it was fun. We were having fun. It was a lot of fun. And then something took a turn. And I don't remember. And I don't care to remember that aspect of it. But I kept chugging along. And I chugged along and I chugged along. And then all of a sudden, it's 2019. And you can see this in my videos. 2019 was a year like I lost my job. And here's what happens when I lose my job. When I lose my job, the thing that I do when I'm emotionally a mess is I eat. And I've always been a big guy. So eating has been part of that journey. Whenever I get in an emotional mess, too stressed out, whatever, I eat. And by the time I hit 2019, I had got back up to the weight. I lost a lot of weight in 2010, and I gained it all back. So I finally hit that point where I gained all my weight back. So I knew I needed to do something. So in 2019, I started losing weight. And I lost 70 pounds in 2019. But the problem was, in August of 2019, my son passed away. And that kind of twisted me. It twisted me in a way that most people would say, why would you want to be on camera? Why would you want to talk to anybody? Why would you want to do drugs? I had a lot of friends saying to me, what are you doing? Why are you doing this all the time? Michael Perry said to me more than one time, why are you doing this? He used to call me up on the phone and we'd talk occasionally. And he would say, why are you doing this? Why? And the reason why I did it was it gave me something to do other than to sit and wallow in my grief. I still had time to wallow in my grief, and I was letting it out on drums. And for a while there, I was letting it out on people because the stages of grief, one of them is anger, and I was very angry. I was very upset about everything. The other place I let it out on was in my food. And from 2019, the fall of 2019, I would proceed to gain all my weight back till October 15th of this year. And on October 15th of this year, I took a change. And I'm right now working diligently with my wife. We're both working together. And I'm hoping to lose weight. And maybe next year this time, I'll look like I lost some serious weight. Weight loss is a journey, and it takes time. But I learned some things about myself during my son Matt's death and the grief I've gone through to basically say, hey, I got to do something. So that's where I'm at. And that's why I took kind of August. I was starting to feel it in July and August, like I got to do something about myself because I'm not healthy. I'm not unhealthy because I went to the doctor in August. He said, nope, you're healthy, you're okay, but you got to lose weight. And that was something I've heard my whole life, so long, so many times. But he said, you're really, I'm serious, you're 61 now, and you need to do something about this. So That's where I'm at. I'm working on that diligently. And it's funny because one of the guys that also early YouTubers, I had a question this week. And the question, I'm not going to answer the question yet. I'm going to answer it next. But I looked underneath the question. It was on my Concert Tom video. And Steve Delamar, Steve the drummer, said, "Hey, Earl, this was right after my son passed away, and he was watching an Ask Earl Anything." And he said, "Hey, Earl, you said something in your Ask Earl Anything when you were talking about weight loss. Specifically, you said, 'I want to live.'" I'm paraphrasing, of course. "Life is about living, not watching YouTube. I can't begin to imagine the emotional roller coaster you guys have been through over the last few months since Matt's passing. I only hope and pray that both of you and Steffa are living every day to its fullest and truly living life. Always love your covers and your knowledge of drums. Wishing you the best. Happy Thanksgiving." So this was right around this time, around Thanksgiving time, 2019. It's kind of funny. I didn't notice this till I went on air almost. I was starting to look through the questions for this week's show, and I saw Steve under it. I said, "Steve asked me the question." And it wasn't Steve, but that question related to what I just said. It's about a journey. It is. And life's about living, and life's more than YouTube. So one of the things you're going to see is I hope to get a YouTube live stream going, and I hope to do some interviews. But I have to tell you, there's guys doing some great drummer interviews like Drumman 190 and Drum LCK, John. They got the greatest drummers in the world coming on their show. I'd like to do that someday, but I don't know if I have the time and the energy or the effort to go query people, because that's what it takes. It just takes asking. I'm sure that's what Matthew's doing. He's asking people. So I'd like to do that. And I have done it. I was lucky enough to interview John Robinson. I've had some people on my live stream, and it's been a lot of fun. But so that might happen someday, or it may never happen. I'll keep doing drum covers because drum covers are a way to keep my chops up, and I have fun with that. But I make no money on that, and I'm not even trying to make money. I'm actually thinking about if I demonetize all my live stuff, maybe more people would watch it, actually. And maybe YouTube wouldn't put videos on it, commercials on it. But I have a video of my son that's in an unlisted mode because I'm trying to learn this song that he wrote, and it's something that he did, and I have it on a video. We used it as memorial service. And every time I open it up, it gives me a commercial, and I don't think it's monetized. So I don't think it matters if you monetize or don't monetize anymore. YouTube's going to put commercials on it. So the bottom line of the whole thing is I may as well keep the monetization on. If they're going to monetize stuff and I'm not going to make any money on it, they're going to make it all. That's where we're going. So YouTube's getting a little weird, and I think that's why people are doing less YouTube, less time for YouTube. There's so many drummers trying to do this, so there's less time to watch every drummer. And I think the state of YouTube is in flux, just like Facebook, just like Instagram, just like Twitter, and just like the media in general. So over the next few months, I may talk to that a little bit more. But for today, I just wanted to say thank you all for allowing me to have 5,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you those who watch them faithfully today. Thank you to my new friends I've made over the last couple years. Jim Flies 2 and Chadwick Perry and Tate Berkey and Adam, who's been a friend for a long time, AR drummer. And then I got like Lori Jones and Claus and CCM drummer. I got some guys that love my live stream and they jump in on it sometimes. And, also guys like Brian drums. I think his name's Brian Ferry, but I don't remember completely. And Blake from Los Angeles, who teaches lessons. There's a bunch of guys that watch my stuff and comment on it regularly. And I know I missed a lot of people because there's a lot of people that do. But thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for following me. Thank you for watching. I will still be putting out content. I will still be having fun with it. You just might see it a little less often. And that may not be the worst thing either, because maybe you're all done with Earl right now. That's part of the problem. All right, my first question comes from Dragon forget it. Dragon Milosevec. And he said, my wish is to compare two drums in one of your phenomenal shows. The first drum is a Ludwig Super Sensitive 6.5 by 14, and the second is a Ludwig Superphonic 6.5 by 14. Thank you in advance, and a big greeting to the master from the beautiful country of Serbia. Well, Dragon, thank you for watching from Serbia. Now, let me give you my experience. I don't have a 6.5 by 14 Ludwig Superphonic to put up, or I would. And I don't have a 6.5 by 14 Ludwig Super Sensitive to put up. Now, I did own a 6.5 by 14 Ludwig Super Sensitive. I've actually owned a 5 by 14 Ludwig Super Sensitive. And I have owned a 6.5 by 14 Hammered Bronze Superphonic. And I've owned, I said the 6.5 by 14 Super Sensitive. So I'm still looking for a 6.5 by 14 Black Beauty, and I have this beautiful 5 by 14 Ludwig Black Beauty that's sitting here on the kit. Here's my take on it. I think that the Super Sensitive and the Superphonic are essentially the same drum, but the Super Sensitive has got that snare mechanism that's a lot more wonky to work with. That Super Sensitive snare mechanism, to me, is a little overkill. And I think the beauty of the Ludwig Superphonic is the simplicity of the strainer. But when you look at the drum, you could probably get both drums to sound just about the same if you know how to tune and tighten the snares to get the sound you're looking out of it. So they're the same drum shell. It's just a different strainer. It's like putting a different strainer on a Ludwig Black Beauty. This Black Beauty's got a Done-It throw-off on it because my Millennial throw-off broke. And I took it off and I put it on here. And I haven't been able to find a screw that really fits it. So this works fine. And it still sounds like a Ludwig Black Beauty. So what I would say is, what you're really asking me is, are the shells different? No, they're exactly the same. Can you get the same sounds? Yes. Is the Super Sensitive a little bit more wonky in that how you set it up? Yes, it is. It takes a little more play to get that strainer to work right. But a parallel strainer can sound amazing on a drum. And what I like about it is the snares go across the bottom head. It's 15 inches opposed to 14 inches. So you get more snare out of it. But I think you can get a similar sound to a Ludwig Superphonic on a Ludwig Super Sensitive. And I had one for a few years. I traded my 3.5 by 14 Pearl piccolo, brass piccolo. Floating action, right? It's floating action brass piccolo. I was trying to think of the name of it. I just blanked out for a second there. But that piccolo snare drum, that brass piccolo, I traded it for that 6.5 by 14 Ludwig Super Sensitive, which I had for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. Then I traded it to somebody else for something else. I don't know what. It could even went in one of the trades for a Noble Cooley or something. I don't remember if that was part of that trade. It might have been part of another trade with Pat O'Donnell though. So I've traded stuff away, but that's essentially it. I think they're essentially the same drum, but just a little different. All right, my next question comes from Dirk Ayala, and Dirk's another longtime follower, and he had a question about my concert tom kit. He said, I probably missed it, but have you already done a video chatting about these drums and the setup? And he's talking about the concert tom kit. I have a whole video on the concert toms, but I don't know if I ever really talk about the kit. So let me give you a little bit of the rundown on my concert tom kit. My concert tom kit is a pearl fiberglass kit from the circa 1970s with thin fiberglass shells, which are nowhere like the Blame Air shells of Hal Blaine, which was a thicker shell apparently. A lot of the Blame Air guys have let me know it's not the same, but I will tell you this. The pearl fiberglass shells do sound amazing. And for concert toms, it's really about the relationship of that shell and the head and getting that head to say what you want it to say to the microphone. Now, I get a lot of flack about putting tape on drums and moon gel on drums and blah, blah, blah. But the one thing I don't get a lot of flack about is my drum cover sound. And why don't I get it is because I muffle drums to get a certain sound and a certain vibe for a certain song that I'm doing. When I play the concert tom kit, I'm playing it to get a 70s, 80s rock sound. And that sound right there is been on a billion records. We all know and love that sound, and it's very muffled, and it's a very dead drum sound. It's not super dead where it's just a cardboard box, but it could be to get that effect. So my concert tom kit today has got a 5.5 by 8, 6.5 by 10. I have two of those, a 9 by 13, 10 by 14, 12 by 15, 14 by 16 fiberglass pearl concert tom. I have a 6-inch Tama Octobon, which is probably closer to 20 years old, maybe, if that. Maybe it's only 10 years old, that I use for the 6-inch tom because I can't find a pearl fiberglass concert tom 6-inch that's not going to cost me more than $400. And I'm just not going to spend $400 for a concert tom. Sorry. The other thing I have is I will occasionally put a Gretsch floor tom with it, and I have a Gretsch bass drum. It's over. But I've used those concert toms over the 20-inch bass drum and the 22. So it doesn't really matter. It's mostly over the 22, and I've got the 22 packed with a blanket and gets that really funky 70s dry, dead disco sound that everybody loved, with a big hole in the center that I mic the drum through. And that's really what that kit's about. And then I augment it with cymbals, whatever cymbals I want to use and whatever snare I want to use. So from that perspective, I think that that kit is just really cool. Now, my goal for the kit was to paint it and was to paint it black, piano black, and put bottom heads on it and make it a Steve Gadd kit. A Steve Gadd fiberglass kit, because Steve Gadd had a set of fiberglass pearl concert toms, a 6.5 by 10, an 8 by 12, a 9 by 13, a 10 by 14. I don't know if he actually put the 15 and 16 double-headed or not, because I never saw it that configuration, but it was 10, 12, 13, 14. And that was the setup that Steve Gadd used for a long time. So when I bought them, my intention was, I actually bought them from Dan at DMR Drums. I use DMR snare drums occasionally, 7 by 14 walnut drum, and I've got a cast aluminum 6.5 by 14. Dan was in town. So I thought when I bought it, I'm making friends with Dan. Maybe someday I'll get him to paint the shells and really make the kit look cool. Well, Dan moved back to Jacksonville. I have not painted the kit, and I've actually found that the fiberglass shells by themselves, the way they are, sound great, and that's the way Hal did it. Hal didn't want anything on his kit, on his shells. He just didn't want anything to deaden the shells. So I went for that, and I think they sound pretty good. So that's the story of the concert tom kit. Thanks for the question, Dirk. All right. The next question comes from Jonathan Sensei, and he's another friend that I get to see occasionally online, says hi and stuff, and I like watching his video. We also did Big Sit Khaled with Spiro drums. That was a little drum piece to Max Roach, and we were part of like 6 of us doing it. Drumman 190 was in on that too. That was a lot of fun. And Bonham Waltzes was on that. I'm trying to think who else. And Spiro's dad was on that. Anyhow, we did that last April. That was kind of fun. I was learning that piece. Anyhow, Jonathan said, thanks, Earl. This is a really useful video. I don't know what video he's commenting on. It's like being in a class with a guru drummer. Love what you said about disconnecting yourself from the instrument when you're not feeling any inspiration. Last Ask Earl Anything, I think it was. It's absolutely true. I shouldn't be afraid to not play once in a while. Yep. I think we all need to disconnect once in a while. So here's the question for the next episode. Have you ever used the Yamaha EAD10 drum module, and what are your thoughts on it? Well, the answer to that question is no. I've never used the EAD10 drum module because I don't have one. But my thoughts on it are, it's pretty much like a condenser mic that sits on the bass drum. And I don't think you need any microphones attached to it, but maybe you can attach microphones to it. And it picks up the kit's low-end hits and puts ambience on it and makes the drums sound bigger. And I was listening to my friend Blake Nunn drums today doing something with the EA10, and I specifically listened to it because it said EA10, and he did one with his iPhone, he did one with the EA10. And the real big difference I heard was the ambience reverby sound that it had in the unit, and that's what it added to the drums. I'm still more of a fan of miking the toms and putting it through a proper DAW to record drum covers. That's just how I am. But I can see the usefulness of it. Also, if you're not in a mic situation and you had room in your PA to put this through, maybe that would be helpful. It makes you feel, if you're listening to yourself through the unit, I'm sure it makes you feel like the drums are huge. And that would give you inspiration. I get a lot of inspiration listening to the drums through headphones or in-ears. That gives me inspiration while I'm recording. As a matter of fact, if the in-ear mix is a little weird to the track, that's when I have a harder time figuring out how to play the track. So that's really important that you hear drums in a way that makes you inspired to play. So I think that's a good part of the EAD10 too. But not having one and being able to test one, I really can't give you a real answer to that question. So for that to say, that's about as much as I can say about it. But thanks for the question, Jonathan. I really do appreciate it. All right, my last question comes from a new friend, Odd Meter. He says, Earl, did you ever look for the right drumstick for a certain ride cymbal? I like the SD2s for most of my rides. Well, Odd Meter, I have. And I'm going to show you something. I actually did a video on this somewhere in my drum talk videos, choosing the right drumsticks for certain cymbals. Now, I've got up here today a Paiste 2002 ride. And I'm going to pull out a few different cymbals just to give you the difference, what different cymbals sound like. So the first one is, I'm going to use my normal 5A. This is my Los Angeles Vader 5A. And just to give you a little taste of the cymbal with the Vader 5A. All right, crystal clear, a lot of fun. Let me do the other thing, which shows some of the bell. I don't know why guys that test cymbals do swing ride cymbal patterns and that kind of mambo-y thing, but a lot of guys do. So I gave it to you the way you test cymbal way. All right, so let's look at a different stick. Now this is a Vader Fusion with a little ball on it, a little nylon ball. Okay, let's see how different a little nylon ball sounds on this. Brighter. I think this is brighter. Let's do this stick. This is an interesting stick. This is a copy of a Steve Gadd stick. This is like a second, and I bought a pile of sticks at Guitar Center one day, and I had to weigh them to get close. This has got a little dot on it, so this is one of the weighed sticks. But it's exactly like the Vic Firth Steve Gadd stick, except it's not black. Now, I have a black one over there, but I just decided to pull this one out. Now, this bead's got it's a little less abrasive than the wood. This bead, the acorn bead, kind of cuts through a little more, I think. All right, this is a Peter Erskine stick. It's got a really small tip like the Rogers 2C sticks of the 70s when Rogers used to make drumsticks. So let's listen to this. Nice stick. It's a lighter stick for me. All right. This is an American hickory acorn tip. I believe this is I think it's a 5A. It doesn't say it on it. I'm surprised. I'm pretty sure it's a 5A. Nice stick. Again, with the acorn tip, it's more like the 5A. Let's see if I got one more stick. This is the Goodwood Vader second stick from Sweetwater. Got these pretty cheap too. I think I got 6 pairs for $20. I think they were like $3 a pair. I think 6 pairs for $20. I bought one with the acorn tip nylon, because on the Zildjian Carope, I needed something to pull it out a little bit. So this gives it a little bit more brightness. So all that to say is, I do think different tips and different types of sticks make a different effect on cymbals. And that's why I have so many different types of sticks that I have in my bag, so I can pull out different things for different purposes to get a different sound if I need to. For the most part, my general stick is an LA5A Vader. That's my favorite drumstick. It's the cheapest drumstick I can get. That's why I buy it, of quality. I mean, I've played everything from I love the Steve Gadd stick, by the way. It's a little bit smaller than a 5A. It's more like somewhere between a 7A and a 5A. I used to play the Regal Tip 8A for a long time. I had a round bead. I love the Vader Fusion stick. For years I played that. When Harvey Mason's and Dave Weckl sticks came out, the original ones, I played those for years too. But of course, the signature sticks didn't cost $12 a pair or $15 a pair. And for me, I have a lot of sticks around here. I like to play fresh drumsticks occasionally. This pair of LA5As, I was cutting a track yesterday, my son's track actually, and I decided to pull out another pair. So, but it's not like I don't have drumsticks. I got them everywhere, and I use them for all different kinds of things. So, I find the 5A the most useful to me. So that's what I use. Anyhow, thanks for the question on meter. All right, well, that's kind of Ask Earl Anything this week. Thank you all for being my subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, like, share, and subscribe. I don't know who shares videos either. That's another one of those things. I really don't share people's videos. When people ask me to share, that's one of the things I don't do. I don't even share my own videos. So why would I share your video? That's where I'm at with that. I will support you by watching your videos and subscribing to you, but like, share, and subscribe. It's like, does somebody really want to see that? I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but that's the world we live in. It's promotions. Maybe next time I'll talk about that a little bit. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed my 5,000 subscriber rant and all the other stuff. But I want to really thank all the people that are my friends and in this community. And I'm going to be around. As long as I can play drums, I'll be around. Hopefully I'll start looking healthier and feeling healthier. I do feel healthier. I mean, I've been at this almost 4 weeks now, and I don't know how much I weigh. That's part of the thing. I'm not weighing myself right now. So, but I do know I lost probably about 20 pounds. So that's a starting point. You got to start somewhere, then you go from there, right? And I got a long way to go. So that's the way I look at it. But thank you all for watching, and I hope you continue to watch. And hopefully we'll catch you up again. I do plan to do a live stream in November. It'll probably be closer to Thanksgiving. So it might even be Thanksgiving weekend, but I'm not sure yet. But I am planning on doing a live stream, and I will have some guests coming on too on the live stream soon. Couple friend guests. Nobody famous yet, but maybe one day I'll ask somebody famous to be on. It'd be fun. By the way, there's a guy that does interviews. His name's Everyone Loves Guitar. Everybody Loves Guitar. I don't know the guy's name, but he just did an interview with Greg Morrow, the drummer from Joe Bonamassa and the Dixie Chicks and Amy Grant. My wife interviewed Greg Morrow from Modern Drummer back in the 80s. And just a great interview. Great interview, man. I mean, I love Nashville guys. That's one of my things. I've been following a lot of the Nashville drummers for a long time, and Greg Morrow's one of them. He played on an Amy Grant album back in the 80s that I had, a live album of Amy Grant's music. Yeah, I like Amy Grant. Yeah, I like the Carpenters. Yeah, I like chick singers. Yeah, I like smushy stuff, smushy smalty stuff. Yacht rock. Yeah, that's me. Anyhow, I also like jazz too, and funk, and soul music and R&B. You never know what I'm going to play. And Genesis. Today I released Genesis. No reply at all. Anyhow, thank you all for watching. If you made it to the end here, I should send you a symbol if you made it to the end. Love you guys. Thank you all for being and watching. Remember, your questions make the show next time. Thank you. If I don't have questions, I don't have a show. Take care. Bye.